car had passed 2 hands before it landed up with me. We brought the car in, we took the motor apart. The bottom end is still stock standard. We've got standard bearings in there, standard pistons, standard rods. The head's been ported, polished. It's got bigger valves in, standard cams in. We've got 2000cc injectors in, running on 50-50 fuel, 50 ethanol, 50 pump fuel. The motor was put together by Johan from Fred. Initially it had a rotary motor in it, hence it does have the FD3 gearbox on the RX-7. Copper clutch that's been done by one of our guys from Savannah Park, one of my local friends. His name is Bear, goes as Bear from Savannah Park. He did the clutch that's really held the power into the car. The radiator is a normal Toyota radiator in there that we stuck in, front mount intercooler, a little bit of a big intercooler that's in there. All 2.5-inch boost pipes. Yeah, Chinese turbo, it works, as everybody's seen. So it doesn't have a brand, it's a GT35 in size, but it's no brand, no make, not a twin scroll, it's just a normal turbocharger in there. Not a Precision, not a Garrett, so it works. Look, if your budget allows you and whatever fits into your pocket and you make it work, it'll work. My name is Trevor Govender, 41 years old, formerly from Savannah Park, live in Shawcross now. This here is my beautiful blue 323 Mazda, which brings back a lot of memories for me and my family as well. Car itself has really brought a bit of distraction to us in our recent unfortunate events that came through in our lives. It's been a good distraction for us. It's brought some joy, some happiness into this home. So this car we bought 2 years ago, just after my wife had passed away. And yeah, initially I bought it because of sentimental value. My wife and I had one of these when we first started dating. She even learned how to drive on one of these. And this was the first car that I had purchased for my dad. So yeah, the sentimental value of buying the car was more getting original Mazda 323. It was just by luck that we had purchased the car and it was already fitted with a 16-valve motor in it. But an incomplete project, all they was using it for just spinning. So when we got it in, I said, it's got a lot of potential.
At that time, my dream car was a Mazda 323. So when it came, you could imagine how excited I was.
Your dream car is a Mazda 323?
I know it's odd. Since I was 7 years old, because I had found out about my father's Mazda 323. I was fine with the 1.4 liter. It said 1.4. They popped the bonnet and I was like...
Oh, I hated cars my whole life. Yeah, from the time I was a baby, I never liked cars. I was always outside when he was working though. I was always there. I was talking to him about my day, watching what he's doing, ask what this do, what that do. My brother was a big influence on me with the cars. So after he was born, his first car word was Zika, because we had a turbocharged Golf. So we used to call it Zika because he used to like the noise that the turbo made.
Stop it. What turbo makes Zika?
Ask him.
The first car, this must be surprising, that I fixed was a Golf.
What Golf?
Mark 1. It was a .com, I think. I stripped the fan, I took the fan belt and the gears out. I assembled it by myself, but obviously I needed some help to take it. I was 5 years old, 6 years old when I did my first repair.
Everything that I know so far about cars came from this car. How to change spark plugs. Like the first time I changed spark plugs, I tightened it. I tightened it. It was tight. It wasn't going out nowhere. Bad idea. So and then he was asking, why was this thing misfiring? I said, take the spark plugs out. Oh, shit, Tyler, what did you do?
So we've had one experience where we started the car and we went for a drive just down the road. The main battery cable unfortunately had shorted out onto the body and it caught a light while all of them were in the car.
Who was driving?
I was driving. So luckily, we've had a rag in the car. One guy is saying, let me phone for the fire brigade. The other guy is saying, what if you jump out the car, and I'm busy putting the fire off from underneath.
Him being hard, nah, not at all. Patient, very, and understanding a lot. Like, to be like him one day with the cars and stuff, yes, I hope. Like, he's very calm. Like, the reason why the car kind of caught on fire was me, because I pinched a wire on the, yeah. And then, so I was like, hey, I wonder why this thing caught on fire. Go home, open the cover. Tyler, didn't you tighten this last? Like, it was him. It was Storm. Storm did it.
All we saw was, we could hear something loud just coming up. And we just saw his car in the dead end doing like a donut. It almost flipped. And I was like,
Down here?
yeah. And then I was like, because all they just told us was that they're going to go pick up a car, just a car. And then we saw this coming and he was like shocked. And my small cousin, he was like, oh shit, it's a 323.
Construction is a big problem. I can see.
The front shocks are renewed. We shortened it a bit and we compressed the spring by 20 mils, tried to bring the front down because it was quite high and the wheel was actually touching. That was the reason that we compressed it, not to get it looking more racy or anything. We just compressed it because the tires were touching onto the firewall. So we put that in. I've put new shocks at the back. Now I've compressed the rear springs. The spare tire, we're taking it out. In place of the spare tire, I've got a surge tank. I've modified the fuel tank because it's gravity feed and we were having fuel issues every time we launched the car. First, second, it was running lean. So yeah, it had the 13B motor in it with the FD3 gearbox. When that was with Johan and the car caught a light, he had unfortunately couldn't save that engine. It was costing him an arm and leg to put it back together. So he kept the gearbox and he put in the Mazda motor with the mounts. So I was lucky in a sense, the mountings, I didn't spend time fabricating it. He did a good job fabricating it. So that's one thing that does take up a lot of time when you're doing modifications.
Never too late. Yeah, it's like, for them to have that opportunity and to keep them occupied doing something. It just brings smiles to your face when they jump in this car or the BMW and they go somewhere. They all want to jump in.
So that Honda shifter is fitted by my little son, Cree. So we bought that on Temu. There was an add-on by him, the color he picked it. He put it on himself, it didn't come loose through all the drag racing.
When you are watching it on the line, when it revs and it limits, everyone thought it was a rotary. Even I thought it was a rotary. I was like, okay, that's new.
So that event, I think these kids pushed me a bit. I wasn't even getting out. It was the Thursday that we tuned the car at Candy. I tried to drive the car. The lower control arm on the right side actually tore off the chassis because I tried to launch it in boost, and that was in the night coming from Kandy, and I damaged it. Friday morning I drove the car to work slowly, welded it, borrowed the guy's trailer on Friday, brought the trailer here Friday evening, loaded the car Saturday morning, and that morning I was testing it on the track up and down.
Listen to that, VW versus Mazda, front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive. Let's take these cars out the line.
Yeah, that was the first time ever for me out on a legal street track with this car, first time out, and yeah, it was something that was memorable and enjoyable. It's completely different from street racing.
When you go from 2 to 3 and flat out 3.
2 to 3. So 2 was okay, 3 was, 4 was just, you felt like you're gonna die.
Rear-wheel drive gets your heart pumping from the line, from the time you leave the clutch. All you're looking for a rear-wheel drive is to see who's on the side of you. You're either in front of him or behind him, or you're going to look at the wall on the other side of you. So it's completely different. We had, my initial budget was to buy this car was to stay within 100,000 Rand, to stay below that. We're still below it, way below it. And we still got a lot of work to do on the car. I was struggling down the track. We kept letting off the accelerator. The wheel spin is ridiculous. You couldn't get down the track without pedaling the car and worrying about it turning sideways on the track. So the next step is to try to get a nice LS diff, put it in and upgrade the back brakes. Because when I did chase the 63 down and I held the accelerator all the way down to on the 4th gear, it was scary to stop it down a Desi Racer. It's short.
It felt like I was in a rocket ship, honestly. I was recording inside the car at that moment. I felt like I broke my neck because I couldn't pull myself. I was trying to pull myself, but he's glued to the seat, so...
So most of the parts that are in the car itself are whatever I find in the garage. The fittings, the clamps, the screws, the bolts, the nuts. The rest of the interior in this car is stock standard from 1978, 79.
What model?
It's a 79 registered 79 on the logbook. It's a Mazda steering wheel from factory, still works fine. It's all, I think, 35 centimeters wide. So yeah, you get a lot of grip there. The interior is from the 17s. It's got a few tears on the suede seats, but everything else is stock standard in the car. Nothing's been added in beside a little boost gauge at the bottom where you keep all your documents, but that's it.
Aircon? Fan?
It's got air conditioner. You pull the vent in the side and it blows in cold air to you. If it's hot outside, you're going to get hot air. So it's your choice.
That's how they did it.
That's how they did it in the 70s.
What was your favorite part about building the Mazda, this whole project?
Spending time with my dad, I guess.
I think the best part was getting the side comments from the kids. Is this going to work? Are you sure this bolt looks tiny? You're going to use this car, it's going to break. To see their thoughts behind the car, why are you putting this in?
that I got bonding time with my uncle and my cousins, and just spending time with them, learning from my uncle how to do certain things. Because, you know, if it wasn't for him, I think I wouldn't know anything about cars or fixing anything.
It was not just exciting, it was like I won the lotto. Because I never expect this to beat so many cars. Because I mean, look at it. It's still got the standard interior. Got the standard diff. No traction, that was the scary part.
I don't really spend a lot of time when I was a little bit younger, before my brother was born, because he was like work and stuff, so he had to kind of be there. So he wasn't really always behind my back. And then, so when after my mom passed and stuff, we kind of tried and get as close as each other as possible. So even with my brother and stuff, staying outside late nights, going to sleep maybe like around 12, staying outside and, you know, just hours and hours of just talking to dad, him reminiscing. I remember, you know how your mom used to do this stuff, and it was like, even when we were at the track too, he was like, you know, if your mom was here, she would have definitely drove this car down the track, definitely. Yeah.